Dear students, welcome to lecture 18 in distributed systems. Today's topic is deadlocks. So in the previous lecture you have learned about mutual exclusion, means the exclusive access holding by a process. So in order to provide an exclusive access, there should be some resource allocation policy to ensure that only single process is executing the critical section code. So, in a distributed system, a system may consist with a finite number of resources, and in those resources, it may have finite number of units. Say for example, resource is printer, units means the number of pieces available in the category of that particular resource. So, if there are only 4 printers available in that particular system, then units will be noted as 4. Like that, if there are 3 printers, 6 tape drives, 4 disk drives and 2 CPUs, etc. are examples of units of each resource. Okay. Resources, tape drives, disk drives, CPUs, printers, etc. And how many exists in that particular system comes as the unit. Okay. Next. So we have seen that multiple concurrent process will always compete for the usage of the resource. Means two processes may simultaneously want to use the resource printer. In such a case, it can allocate. Why? Because the 3 printers are there and they are free, let us assume. Like that, we can follow some resource allocation policy to ensure the exclusive access by a process. So in this situation, where the resources are sequence of events required to use the resource, will give you the events like request, allocate and release. We have already seen this. Request is means the process will make a request for the usage of a particular resource. If the requested resource is not available, then we can think of that particular resource is used by another process. So what the requesting process will do? It will wait until the requested resource is allocated to it. Okay. Whatever process is requesting that particular resource. Say for example, P10 process is requesting the resource tape drive. If there is a free unit of tape drive resource, then that resource will be allocated immediately to the process P10. But if it is being used by another process, if P9 is using that resource, what P10 should do? P10 should wait until P9 releases that particular resource. So this is the request message. And the second thing is allocate, means the system will allocate the resource to the requesting process. Means similarly, if the P10 is requesting the resource tape drive, so when the system receives that request, it will process that request as soon as possible. So it maintains a table in which it will record whether each resource is available or not. Okay. Say for example, we have already allocated 2 tape drives how many total number of tape drives are available in the distributed system. Say for example, in that particular system there are 4 tape drives, and out of 4, 3 are allocated. Like that, available, allocated, and the remaining tape drives allocation, to whom it was allocated. Like that, a table format will be stored in a system. So when the resource is free, it will be noted as out of 4, 3 are allocated. So free number of resources available are 1. Only 1 is available. So after for that particular allocation of that resource, even that remaining 1 also allocated, it will update that table to free available resources as 0, allocated as 4. Like that, it will maintain the table system. In a system, it will maintain a table. And the third one is release. When this release event is given, means after the process, whatever process is holding that particular resource, after completion of that allocated resource work, it releases the resource to the system. In such a case, again it updates the table as available resource is equal to 1. Why? Because we assuming that one resource is released. See here, system table records are updated at the time of allocation and release, both the two events. In both the cases, that is allocation and release. In allocation, we need to add that resource to the allocated, and while release, we should add it to the available. We should decrease from the allocation block. So it reflects the current status of availability of the resources, so that the system can think of that for any other request it can assign that particular resource or not. So the request and release of resources are system calls, which are similar to request and release for a devices. Resources may be of files, memory space, like that. So they are similar to open a file and closing of files. Allocation means memory, allocation of memory. Release is nothing but free of memory space. So here allocation is the only process that the system can control. Means the system can allocate only the resource, but the other two operations must be done by a process itself. Release will be request and release will be done by the process itself. So whenever there is a need, a process will send a request. If it is readily available, the resource is allocated to the particular requested process. After completion of the usage of that resource, the process will release that resource. This is the thing that will going in a group of shared resources between multiple processes. So it may happen sometimes that when the resource is not readily available, the processes will enter the waiting queue. Yesterday we have seen that ready queue, like that. There will be a queue and they will be in the waiting state. Why they will be in the waiting state? As the requested resource is not available at the time of the request. When that process asks the request, at that time the resource is not available. So it will wait. So indefinitely, sometimes it may have to wait. Means it will never get a chance to get the resource. Why? Because all the resources held by another processes may be in the waiting state for another resources. Means already the used processing P1 and P2 are holding each resource. We will see this example here. So that situation is called as a deadlock state. If a deadlock stage is achieved, it is nothing but a state of permanent blocking of set of processes. Means in which all the process will wait for the particular resource and they will not release the already allocated resources, but they still want to get the resource or allocate the resource to complete the task. Let us see this deadlock situation with this example. So suppose that a system has two tape drives T1 and T2. Means there is a resource and how many units are there in that particular resource? Two tape drives are there. And the resource allocation strategy is such that the request resource is immediately allocated to the requester. Like that, two concurrent processes are there. T1 and T2 are tape drive resources. P1 and P2 are processes that are concurrently executing. So P1 requests for one tape drive and the system allocates T1 to it. Means P1 is requesting that I want to use one tape drive and the system allocates that T1 tape drive to it. Immediately we have assumed that the resource allocation strategy that a requested resource is immediately allocated to the requester. So after getting the request from P1, the system allocates T1 to it. And the another process T2 also requesting for one tape drive and the system allocates the second tape drive T2 to it. Now see the situation in the when P1 requests for one more tape drive, can the system can allocate that resource to the process P1? No. Why? Because already there are only two resources, that is two units, that is T1 and T2, both are allocated to different processes and the P1 process is now asking for the second tape drive. So in this situation the system cannot allocate a resource, so it enters into the waiting state as there is no tape drive. Currently presently that resource is not available with the system, so it cannot allocate. So P1 will wait in a waiting state. Now if P2 also requests for one more tape drive, means for second tape drive, it also enters into the waiting state. Why? Because P1 P2 already holding two tape drives, there are only two tape drive units in a system. So it will be on the waiting state as there is no tape drive presently available. So from now you can think that they will be in a indefinitely in a waiting state. P1 and P2 will wait for each other indefinitely. Why? Because P1 cannot release the already holded T1 resource until it gets the T2 resource. Similarly, T2 cannot release the T2 resource until it get T1 resource. Without another tape drive, the task is not yet completed. So they will wait for the resource. In such a case, it will say, we can say that it is in a deadlock situation. Both the process will not release the already holded resources. Still they are requesting for more tape drives. So such a situation is called as deadlock. So deadlock problem occurs. Why it is occurring means the total number of requests of both the process is exceeding the total number of units. Here from both processes we are getting 4 requests, but here we are having only 2 units only. So the requests are more than the existing resources. Resources units are less than the requests. So in such a case, there will be a chance of getting deadlocks. See here, the both process exceeds the total number of units for the tape drive. So in this situation, the resource, as per a resource allocation policy, it cannot allocate immediately the resources as and when requested. So in this case, the deadlocks will occur. So here resource not only mean about the physical objects, that is tape drives or disk drives or printers, etc., but they also represent the logical objects such as a database file, database files, tables, semaphores and monitors. Whatever it may be, we will give it as a resource. We will assume it as a resource. So these resources should permit only exclusive access, means only single process at a time should use the resource, and the process should be non-preamble. What is meant by non-preamble means we cannot take the allocated resource to a process whenever we want. Means the resource is one that cannot be taken away from a process to which it was allocated. Up to what time we cannot take that process? Until the process voluntarily releases it. Means P1 is holding T1. The system cannot take T1 from T1. The system should wait until the P1 process releases T1. If we take in such a way, without the involvement of P1 process, some ill effects, means some wrong results may be performed by the process. So in that case, we should not take the resources from the process. So every process will be holding the exclusive access and it must be non-preamble. Non-preamble means we have to wait until it voluntarily releases that particular resource. Okay. And the next is necessary conditions for deadlock. So in 1971, Kaufman stated that these 4 conditions are necessary for a deadlock situation. Means if these 4 conditions are holding at a time, then we can say that the system is in a deadlock stage. We can think of that deadlock may occur if these 4 conditions are satisfied. What are those 4 conditions means? First one, mutual exclusion condition. You already know this. If a resource is held by a process, if any other process is requesting for that resource, it must wait until the resource has been released. Right? P1 process is requesting for a resource. If that resource is already held by a process P2, then we can think that the P1 process should wait until the resource is released by P2. And the second condition is hold and wait condition. Okay, I hope this one is understood. P1 process should wait until it gets the process from P2. P1 is requesting and that resource is holding by P2 process. That request is holding by P2 process. In such a case, the P1 should be in the waiting state as the resource is holding by P2. That is mutual exclusion condition. And the next is hold and wait. So what this means, process are allowed to request for a new resources. Means P2 is holding one resource. It can request for new resources without releasing the already holding resources. Say for example, P2 is holding the resource T2. The situation which we have seen before is this one. P2 is holding T2, but still it can request for another resource T1. Sorry, you think that it is holding, T2 is holding by P2 and P2 is requesting for again another resource, that is some printer or tape drive 1, T1. It is again requesting. That situation is called hold and wait condition. It is currently holding and it is not releasing the resource that is currently holding, but the process is again requesting for a new resource, that is T1. And the third condition is no preemption condition. We have covered this just now. A resource that has been allocated to a process, T2 is allocated to a process. When this T2 is available comes to an available state, means when P2 voluntarily releases this T2 resource, then only it will be in a available state. Until then it will be in the holding state. That is no preemption condition. A resource has been allocated to a process and this become available to another processes. When it is available to another process, when T2 releases that T2 resource. Until then we cannot take that resource from P2. Next, circular wait condition. This condition is two or more processes must form a circular chain in which each process is waiting for a resource that is held by the next member of the chain. Means, for example, there are process P1, P2, P1, P2 and there are some another process that is P3. So, using draw pen. Okay, P1, P2 and P3. Circular chain means P2 is requesting the resource from P2. P2 is also requesting a resource from P3. P3 is requesting, P1 is requesting a resource from P3. So, P1 is expecting a resource from P2. Here there will be a circular chain wait where all the processes will be in the waiting state for a resource which is holding by the next member. Say P1 P1 want a resource from P2, P2 want a resource from P3, P3 want a resource from P1. This is nothing but a circular wait condition where all the remaining process will wait for a resource that is holding by the next member. If these four conditions then exist simultaneously. See, all four conditions must hold simultaneously in order to say that deadlock may occur. If any one of the condition is absent, then we can say that no deadlock can occur. Okay. Why? Because circular wait condition is depending upon hold and wait condition. Like that, if any one of the condition is missed, we can say that there is no deadlock. Okay. Up to now we have seen what is meant by deadlock. What are the necessary conditions to hold a deadlock? And the next topic is deadlock modeling. Means we will have a directed graph for the resource allocation, and for this purpose we need to know some terminology. What is meant by directed graph, path, cycle, reachable set and not. All these are some terminology that can be used in directed graphs. So deadlocks can be modeled using directed graphs. Means we can easily watch from these directed graphs that deadlocks will occur or not. So what are those terminology means directed graphs is a pair n comma e, where n is a non-empty set of nodes and d is the directed edges. It is nothing but a, b, c, d, e, f are the nodes, and edges means a to b is an edge. That is this one. A directed edge is an ordered pair. Okay, where edge is ordered pair, that is a to b. It is an ordered pair. And path, it is nothing but the sequence of nodes. This is node. Each circle is a node. So there will be a path in sequence of nodes of a directed graph, so that a comma b, b comma c and I comma j, whatever nodes or combination of nodes, there will be a directed edges. Directed edges, why we are saying that? It is representing arrow. So it is directed edge. And cycle means a cycle is a path from which first and last nodes are there. See here, cycle is there a to b, b to c, c to d, d to e, e to f and f to a. First node and last node are the same. So in such a case we will say that it is cycle. And reachable set means, for example, the set of a node A is the set of all nodes B, such that if there exists a path from A to B, we will not say that there is a path from A to D directly, but A to B, B to C and C to D we can reach. That is called as reachable set. And not, it is a non-empty set K of nodes such that reachable set of each node is there. Not always contains one or more cycles. For example, here there are set of nodes. I have already shown A, B, C, D, E, F. And directed edges are, see here, directed edges are A to B, B to C and C to D. These are the nodes. Directed edges, set of directed edges, A to B, B to C, C to D, D to E, E to F, F to A. And also we have one directed edge from E to D. Okay, directed edge from E to B. So it has two cycles. Already I have shown one, and another one is B, C, D, E, B, where the first and last node is B. It is also having a knot that is A, B, C, D, E, F, which contains two cycles, reachable set. So for deadlock modeling, a directed graph called as a resource allocation graph. It is used between the set of nodes, and the set of edges are partitioned into two types. So we will see this resource allocation graph in next class.